Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive into something pretty amazing.
Let's do it.
Okay, so today we're tackling stem cell regeneration
Ooh, yeah.
and how it all connects to fasting.
Okay.
So
Sounds complicated.
it is a little bit, but you gave me some really cool stuff to read through.
Right.
Like we've got some hard science stuff
Yeah.
and some like practical guides too.
Mm-hmm.
And then
There's
even
some
some insights on Islamic fasting practices.
Oh, wow. That's a really cool mix.
Yeah,
So I'm excited to see where this goes.
me too. Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting exploration for sure.
It really is.
Think
So
about
what I
that.
think is so fascinating about this topic is like it brings together cutting edge science and
Yeah.
these like ancient practices. It's
Yeah.
like
That's a really good point.
it highlights how much we still don't know
Yeah.
about our bodies
Mm,
and how they can like heal themselves.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
incredible, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so our mission today is to like really unpack this whole stem cell thing
Yeah.
and help you guys listening
Mm-hmm.
understand what they even are,
Yeah.
how fasting might affect them,
Okay.
and what it all means for like our health and how long we live.
I'm ready.
Awesome.
Let's do it.
So first things first, what exactly are stem cells?
Okay, so stem cells,
Yeah.
they're kind of like celebrities in the world of biology.
Uh-huh.
They get called the body's master cells,
Ooh, fancy.
right? And it's because they can do two really cool things.
Okay, what are they?
The first one is self-renew, which
Okay.
basically means they can make copies of themselves.
Oh, so they're like little copy machines.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is they can differentiate.
Differentiate.
Yeah, so that means they can turn into
Right.
all sorts of different specialized cells.
Oh, wow.
Like think of them as like the ultimate building blocks.
Right.
They have the potential to become like anything
Wow.
from a heart muscle cell
Mhm.
to a neuron in your brain.
Wow. That's incredible.
It is pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, so like we have this tiny repair crew living inside us
Yeah,
that can fix like anything.
pretty much.
That's wild.
Yeah,
Okay, but I know there are different types of stem cells, right?
you're right, there are.
Yeah.
The two main ones are embryonic stem cells
Okay.
and adult stem cells.
Right.
So embryonic stem cells, they come from embryos
Yeah.
and they can become any type of cell in the body.
Like literally any cell.
Yeah, it's called pluripotency,
Pluripotency.
which basically means they have like unlimited potential.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So what about adult stem cells then?
So adult stem cells, they're found throughout the body,
Okay.
like in different tissues,
Mhm.
and they're a bit more limited
Okay.
in what they can become.
So kind of like specialists.
Exactly. They're like ready to step in and repair
Yeah.
specific tissues or organs.
Wow. So we've got these powerful cells with
Yeah.
all this potential.
Mm.
But like where does that potential lead?
Right.
Like what are some real world examples?
Okay, so
Yeah.
stem cell therapy,
Mm-hmm.
it's already being used to treat like a whole bunch of conditions.
Like what kind of conditions?
So we're talking blood disorders,
Mhm.
cancers,
Yeah.
tissue damage, joint damage, all kinds of things.
That's impressive.
Yeah. One example that's really cool
Okay.
is treating hip arthritis
Okay.
using a patient's own stem cells.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So doctors take stem cells from their bone marrow,
Mm-hmm.
concentrate them,
Okay.
and then inject them right into the damaged hip joint.
So it's like using your own body to heal yourself.
Exactly.
It says amazing.
Yeah. And it can really help with the pain and stiffness.
Wow, that sounds almost futuristic.
Yeah. It's pretty incredible.
But I'm guessing there are some challenges.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like any new technology,
Yeah.
there are limitations.
Like what?
Well, one of the biggest ones is cost.
Okay.
Stem cell therapy. It's often not covered by insurance.
Oh, there's a problem.
Yeah, and it can be really expensive.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And also, even though it has so much potential,
Right.
we're still in the early stages
Uh,
of understanding stem cells.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more research and development that needs to happen.
yeah, that makes sense.
But the field is constantly evolving.
So it's like we know stem cells are powerful
Mm-hmm.
and they can heal,
Yeah.
but what if we could make them even more effective?
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
That's where fasting comes in.
Okay, so tell me about that.
All right, so research is starting to show
Yeah.
that fasting could actually enhance
Okay.
stem cell function.
Really?
Yeah, it seems like when we fast, our
Mhm.
bodies switch from using glucose for energy
Okay.
to burning fat.
Okay.
And this like metabolic switch
Mhm.
creates an environment that's really good for stem cells.
So it's like flipping a switch inside your body
Yeah.
that activates this hidden superpower.
Exactly.
That's so cool.
It is pretty amazing.
But how does it actually work?
Well,
Yeah.
one key seems to be this process called autophagy.
Autophagy.
Yeah, you can think of it like your cell's internal recycling system.
Oh, interesting.
So when you fast, your cells go into like cleanup mode.
Okay.
They break down old and damaged parts
Uh-huh.
to make energy and build new healthy cells.
So it's like a cellular cleanse.
Exactly. And this cleansing process is
Yeah.
really good for stem cells.
Mm-hmm.
It creates a better environment for them.
So it's not just about the stem cells themselves.
Right.
It's about making the right conditions for them.
Exactly.
And fasting is like the key.
It seems to be a big part of it. Yeah.
Now, okay, so you mentioned something about Islamic fasting earlier.
I did.
What was that about?
So during Ramadan,
Yeah.
Muslims don't eat or drink from dawn till dusk,
Right.
which is basically intermittent fasting.
Oh, okay.
We need more research on this specifically, but there's a lot of interest in how this kind of regular fasting might affect stem cells and overall health.
It's so cool how these ancient practices
I know, right?
are being studied by science now.
Yeah.
It's like we're figuring out the science behind traditions that have been around for centuries.
Exactly. It shows how
Right.
connected our
Yeah.
physical and spiritual health really are.
That's a great point.
So as we dig deeper into all this,
Okay.
there's a big question we need to address.
What's that?
If fasting can boost stem cell function,
Right.
are there other things we can do in our lives
Yeah.
to help our stem cells even more?
That's a great question. I love practical tips.
Okay, good.
So what else can we do besides fasting to help our stem cells thrive?
We'll get to that. So before we jump into those tips,
Okay.
let's take a closer look at autophagy.
Yeah. Autophagy, you called it the cell's like recycling system.
Right.
I want to understand how that cleanup actually happens
Okay, sure.
and why it's so important for those stem cells.
All right, well, imagine your cells are like busy cities
Okay. I like
with factories and power plants and transportation systems.
that.
And over time, things break down.
Yeah.
Waste builds up.
Right. Like any city.
Exactly. And the city doesn't work as well.
Makes sense.
That's where autophagy comes in.
Okay.
It's like sending in a crew to clean up the mess,
Oh, okay.
fix what's broken, and recycle whatever they can.
So it's like giving the city a makeover.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Keeping it running smoothly.
Right. And that's crucial for the whole cell to be healthy.
So it's not just taking out the trash.
No,
It's like renewing the whole cell.
exactly.
Wow. Okay. So fasting is like the signal
It seems to be, yeah.
that tells the cells to start cleaning.
Right. When you fast, your cells sense there's less energy around,
Okay.
and that triggers this whole process.
What kind of process?
It activates a protein called AMPK.
Wait, AMPK?
Yeah,
Didn't you say that was like the energy sensor in the cell?
you got it. AMPK is like the fuel gauge. When it sees low energy,
Yeah.
it makes changes to conserve energy and survive.
So like it kicks things into survival mode.
Yeah, and one of those changes is increasing autophagy.
So AMPK is like the alarm bell
Perfect analogy.
telling the cell to clean and repair.
Exactly.
I'm getting this.
Good.
So what happens when we're not fasting then?
Well, when you're eating regularly,
Yeah.
especially foods high in sugar and processed stuff,
Uh-huh. The not so healthy stuff.
right, then a different protein is in charge.
Okay, which one?
It's called mTOR.
MTO. Okay, what does that one do?
Think of mTOR as the growth promoter.
Okay.
It tells the cell to build new proteins, grow bigger and divide.
So it's important for growth.
It is.
But what's the catch?
The thing is, when mTOR is always on,
Yeah.
it can actually suppress autophagy.
Oh, so it's like a balancing act
Exactly.
between AMPK and MTR.
Right.
One wants to clean and repair,
Yeah,
and the other wants to grow and expand
you got it. And fasting seems to tip the balance.
towards cleaning and repair.
Right, towards giving stem cells a chance to do their thing.
Wow. It's amazing that not eating
I know, right?
can have such a big impact on our cells.
It really is fascinating.
Okay, but you said earlier that autophagy might do even more
I did.
than just create a good environment for the stem cells.
Right. Some research suggests that
Yeah.
it might actually enhance stemness.
Stemness. Okay,
Yeah.
I've never heard that word before.
It refers to the unique qualities
Okay.
that make stem cells so powerful.
Oh, okay.
Their ability to self-renew and turn into different cell types.
So that's what makes them special.
Exactly.
Okay, so are you saying autophagy can make stem cells
Yeah.
even better at being stem cells?
That's what some studies are hinting at.
Wow.
It seems like autophagy
Yeah.
helps keep stem cells working properly
Okay.
and maybe even makes them better at regenerating.
So it's like giving them an upgrade.
Yeah, like some special training and better equipment.
Okay, so we've gone through all this amazing science,
what does it all mean for us?
Right. Good question.
Like, what should people listening do with this information?
Well, the research on fasting and stem cells, it tells us we have more control over our health
Okay.
and how long we live.
Then we think.
Yeah. Simple things like fasting could really impact our cells
Yeah.
and how well we regenerate.
Yeah. And maybe even how long we live.
Potentially, yeah.
That's powerful stuff.
It is.
But we've got to be careful with fasting too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We need a balanced approach.
Okay.
Because everyone responds to fasting differently.
Oh, right. Of course.
What works for one person might not work for another.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Things like age, genetics, health conditions, they all play a role.
Okay. So what's the bottom line?
If you're thinking about trying fasting,
Yeah.
talk to your doctor first.
Good advice.
They can help you figure out if it's right for you
Okay.
and how to do it safely.
Safety first, always.
Right.
What else? Keep learning and asking questions.
Yeah. Science is always changing.
It is.
Who knows what we'll discover next?
Speaking of discoveries, in part 3, we'll get into the practical side of fasting.
Okay, I'm ready.
We'll talk about different types of fasting and how to do them safely and make them part of your life.
Awesome. I can't wait. Okay, so we're back and ready to get practical.
Let's do it.
You know, you gave me some really interesting sources
Oh, yeah.
outlining all these different ways to fast. It's like a whole fasting menu.
It is a bit like a menu, isn't it?
Yeah, with options for everyone.
Exactly. And just like choosing a meal,
Right.
it's important to find a fasting approach
Yeah.
that works for you and your lifestyle.
Okay, so let's break it down.
Okay.
Let's start with intermittent fasting.
All right. Intermittent fasting or IF?
Yeah, IF, like everyone's talking about it.
It is super popular.
So how does it work?
Basically, you cycle between eating and not eating
Okay.
on a regular schedule. It's become so popular because it's pretty easy to fit into your life.
Right.
And you don't have to cut back on calories drastically.
Right.
Like one common method is the 168 method.
168. Okay, tell me about that one.
So you fast for 16 hours.
Okay.
And then you have an 8-hour window to eat.
So like you finish dinner at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
and then don't eat again till noon the next day.
Exactly.
Okay, that doesn't sound too bad.
No, it's manageable.
Yeah, and you can still go out with friends and stuff.
Right. You wouldn't have to miss out on social thing.
So what do you do during the fasting window?
Just water, black coffee, unsweetened tea, that kind of thing.
So no food at all?
Nope.
But then for those 8 hours, you can eat normally.
Exactly.
So it's not about what you eat, but when you eat.
You got it.
Okay, cool. And you mentioned the 5.2 diet too.
Right. The 5.2 diet or the fast diet.
Yeah.
It's another type of intermittent fasting.
How's that one work?
You eat normally for 5 days.
Okay.
And then for 2 days,
Uh-huh.
you really restrict your calories.
Okay, so like 2 mini fasts.
Basically.
Yeah, so that might be good for people who don't want to fast every day.
Right. It gives you more flexibility.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And you can fit it into a busy schedule.
All right, so we've got intermittent fasting with a couple of options there.
Yeah.
But now let's talk about the more intense stuff.
Okay, you mean extended fasting?
Yeah, extended fasting.
Yeah, that's where you go without food for longer periods.
Right, like 24 hours or more.
Exactly.
You mentioned some sources talking about like 24 to 72 hours.
Yeah.
Even some fasting for a few days.
That's right.
But that's serious stuff, right?
Definitely not for beginners.
Okay.
You should only do that with your doctor's supervision.
So important.
It can really affect your body.
Okay, so for those who are ready for it,
Mm-hmm.
and doing it safely, of course,
Yeah.
what are the benefits of this extended fasting?
Well, some research suggests
Yeah.
that it can lead to even bigger changes in your cells,
Okay.
like a huge increase in autophagy. Yeah.
And stem cell activity.
Wow, so it's like giving your cells a super boost.
Exactly.
So the longer the fast, the bigger the effect.
That seems to be the trend, but we need more research.
Right. Of course, science is always evolving.
It is.
So we've covered intermittent and extended fasting.
Yeah.
Anything else on our menu?
One more thing.
Yeah.
Time-restricted eating.
Time-restricted eating. Okay, what's that?
It's about choosing a specific window of time to eat each day.
Okay.
Usually like 10 to 12 hours.
So you're not necessarily cutting calories, you're just eating within a shorter time frame.
Exactly.
Interesting.
It can help your eating habits match your body's natural rhythms,
Okay.
which might be good for your metabolism and overall health.
So it's like a blend of intermittent fasting
Yeah.
and regular eating.
Right. A good balance.
Okay, so we've got a whole bunch of fasting options here.
We do.
But before anyone goes and tries any of this,
Yeah. Good point.
what are the most important things to remember?
Okay, first of all, listen to your body.
Fasting shouldn't feel terrible.
Right.
If you're feeling super hungry or weak or dizzy, stop fasting and talk to your doctor.
Really good advice. And what about staying hydrated?
Super important.
Yeah.
Especially when you're fasting.
Okay, what else?
Start slow.
Okay.
If you're new to fasting,
Yeah.
begin with shorter fasting windows.
Yeah.
And gradually increase the time.
Right. Don't go all in at once.
Exactly.
And of course, talk to your doctor before you start,
Always a good idea.
especially if you have any health issues.
Or if you're taking medications.
Yeah. Safety first, always.
So to wrap up this whole discussion,
Okay.
we've explored this link between fasting and stem cells.
Yeah.
But what if we could go even further?
What do you mean?
What if we could create personalized fasting plans?
Oh, wow.
Tailored to each person,
Oh,
based on their age, their genes, their lifestyle.
that's a really cool idea.
Right?
Like personalized stem cell boosting.
Yeah, imagine that.
Wow, that's amazing.
The future of medicine.
So we've reached the end of our deep dive
We have.
into this amazing world of stem cells and fasting.
It's been quite a journey.
Yeah, we hope you guys listening enjoyed it.
And learned some new things.
Don't stop here, though.
Right? Keep learning. Keep asking questions.
And check out the resources in the show notes.
We've got some great links for you.
And as always,
Yeah.
stay curious.